Ambassador, it's the great honor and privilege of the Center for Secure Free Society to be able to award you with the 2022 Manwaring Award for Distinguished Service in Security and Freedom in the Americas. Thank you, Ambassador Winsor.
Thank you very much for this very lovely award, one that I feel, one which makes me feel humbled and challenged, continually challenged, as one's life, I think, should be while one is able to meet challenges. It's a pleasure to be here with new friends, with old friends, with good friends and family. And it's a pleasure, I think, to look forward to what the future will hold for us all. I think that the area of national security is one which one must always think forward on. If we think back, the dangers, I think, history teaches us all too well. If we think forward, there's risk, but then I think in any productive use of life or living of life, risk is inherent. Rick, as a Navy SEAL, could tell us that, I think, perhaps more eloquently than any. But risk is, in its proper context, a good thing. But tonight, looking at these friends in this wonderful setting, I feel tremendously privileged, tremendously honored, and I am very, very thankful for your presence here and your kindness. Thank you very much.
Curtin and I have been related to the Universidad Francisco Marroquín in Guatemala. And there is a wonderful class in English, it's almost 2 hours, where Alan explains his key points. And you know, he puts it in mathematical terms, it's 1 in 1,000 probability that his model would not work. You know, so if you're fighting communism and terrorism and subversives, try to see what Alan has written. And the last academic presentation, Kurt, that you have done, with that same courage, Joseph, he presented at the Mount Pelerin Society in Guatemala a paper on the Wahhabi and Saudi influence of radical Islam. No one dare touch that topic, and has been published also as well. Well, so I first met Curtin almost 3 decades ago. I think it was the first dinner of the Philanthropy Roundtable. It was at the Broadmoor in Colorado Springs. And a few years later, I think it was our common love for the Free Society ended up bringing us together, you know, our overlapping interests. Now, many things go into building this Free Society that is in our name, you know. But as we cannot give what we don't have, you know, it really starts with ourselves and the family. And Curtin has excelled in those two things. You know, in academics, his doctoral dissertation was focused on the national security doctrine and its impact in Argentina, my native country. You know, and I lived through some of those effects of that doctrine. So we both knew that a national security doctrine that neglects the essential truth of economics is self-destructive. Now, the opposite can happen. As Joseph said, you know, when we first met, my major concern, perhaps only concern, was how to protect and expand the free economy. I was neglecting national security. The Iron Wall, you know, had fallen, the Iron Curtain had fallen. China seemed that was in the way of reforming. Some of us did not see all the implications of the United States response to Saddam Hussein's invasion of Kuwait, when in February of 1993, a very well-structured bombing took place in the World Trade Center to bring one tower and fall on the others. We wanted to make friends with the Muslims. No, it's just a radical fringe, Still, the US-born mastermind is still on the large of that event. Now, so everything changed after September 11. I think I stopped saying what am I doing wrong, and tried to study what do the terrorists want. And that's where the idea of the Center for a Secure Free Society started. Kurt and I were on the board, in one of the boards of the Prague Security Studies Institute, if you recall, and we say, wait, we need something like this all over the globe. Then came Joseph. It took me a while to see a talent like Joseph. And then came the Center for a Secure Free Society as an independent organization. Kurt had a distinguished career in public service, both in senior congressional staff and in diplomacy. Our Costa Rica and Central American friends, where is Roger Pardo there, still remember his contributions in many fields, not only security, from health to education. Kurt is still the legend in part of Central America. Curtin always knew that freedom is not free. Each generation has to work to preserve freedom. And in most countries, unfortunately today, many have to work to reconquer it. We have Venezuelan friends here, but unfortunately the list of countries where freedom is our Cuban friends, my gosh. So the work is hard, but we have to continue. Now, given so many rich facets, Curtin, in your life, you taught me so many things, and many people here, about how the real world works. He was also a businessman. Those of us who have played Scrabble with him, he beats us at Scrabble with his immense knowledge of languages and culture. So, but not only I learned from him, he has been very generous with your friends and your brothers. I learned from your former KGB and Russian military intelligence friends. I learned from your Iranian dissidents, from anti-terrorist efforts in the Philippines, from health workers in Africa, of all places. So perhaps the most memorable was when you invited me to be in a very small lunch with Benazir Bhutto, who was about to return to Pakistan, and you were trying to convince her that she needed personal security. Now,
that's the last time I cried.
Yeah, and she predicted, that the Pakistanis were going to be safeguarding Osama bin Laden. So she was in big danger. I think the most stressful thing I did with you was going to Cape Verde, where, not to criticize some of the special forces, but I think Kurt and I knew that when you have a short connection and in stormy weather, you bring a small luggage. And our key guy there with training in defense missed the plane because he didn't, prepare as well as Kurt and I going to this crazy place in the middle of the Atlantic near Africa. Now, Kurt was also in business. I will finish with, and Kurt told us about the importance of solidarity between the business owners and the managers and their workers, as pioneered in Costa Rica by the great Alberto Martin and his Solidarismo project. Thanks to that, this idea prevented the growth of labor unions, both fascist labor unions and Marxist labor unions in Costa Rica, and also the violent movements there. And this takes us to the award that he's about to receive, and Joseph already presented the views of Max Manwaring. He never neglected national security, Max, and approached his studies and teaching with dedication and a thoroughness that continues to help nations around the world. Also, I think he's a very kind person. Now, we both have been blessed with supporting wife. We all love Anne, especially in the battle for freedom. And our wives were friends. When I asked Melanie, who's here with me, what is the first word that comes to mind when she hears Kurt Winsor? Without hesitation, she said, kindness. kind to all, no matter our accents, our skin color, or upbringing. It comes natural, I think, for him to blend his blue blood with the red blood of his great heart. So thank you. What an honor is being able to honor you, Kurt, for everything you have done. So I ask Joseph and Anita if we can give him the Manwaring Award.